every year, more than 500 million Hindus go to temples to pray. We offer the nature in its purest form, flowers to our almighty gods. But have you ever thought what happens to these flowers afterwards? Sadly, these sacred flowers are dumped into water bodies like River Ganges to respect their sanctity. Every year, we Indians put in about 8 million tons of waste flowers in our water bodies and landfills. Flowers that are loaded with pesticides, insecticides. Flowers that rot. Flowers that destroy the fragile ecosystem of the water body, leach into the groundwater, and set a cycle which is irreversible. These chemicals have been linked to contracting cholera, hepatitis, and severe diarrhea, which is the leading cause of child mortality across India and Bangladesh. The sheer volume of flowers is overriding the biophysical stability of River Ganges, and it affects life of more than 420 common people like us. Until 4 years ago, while I was in my corporate job, I had no clue about this. I had a Czech friend visiting me in my hometown, Kanpur, and I took him to the River Ganges Ghat. It turned out that the water was so dirty that we didn't even want to touch it. But on the other hand, we counted about 147 people and small children taking a dip in that water, doing Surya Namaskars, and some were even drinking that slimy water. My friend Kuba questioned me, this is your holy river, right? Then why is it so dirty? I told him the reasons are innumerous. Fecal sludge, open drains, refuse from tanneries and factories. His next question was, why don't you do something about it? I was like, boss, this is India, this is the Ganges, and how can I do something about it? How can anyone do something about it? And there's no starting point. The moment I said that, a nearby temple dumped a truckload of flowers in the river. And I was like, wow. I was amazed. I had never thought of temple waste as pollution. And I felt that I could do something about it. I spent the next 6 months studying and researching temple waste, its life cycle, and the major stakeholders. I left my job and invested the 72,000 rupees I had in an idea. I started going to business plan competitions to build connections, raise initial capital, and build upon my idea. I started collecting samples from flowers, building use cases, and doing experiments. A year later, flower cycling was born. We launched the first charcoal-free incense sticks in the market. Today, we do 8.4 tons of waste flower every day from 3 cities in Uttar Pradesh. We sell an incense every minute. We get around 47 calls or emails every day from people across the country, even our neighbors, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Nepal, that people who want to replicate our model. We've even moved a step ahead. We have built the world's first dedicated R&D for temple waste recycling. This is the world's first biodegradable alternate to styrofoam, or thermocol as we call it. Normally, thermocol is made from petrochemicals, and it is the 5th biggest pollutant on earth. We are building packaging solutions for 3 major household brand names in our country. We have raised $1 million. Let me walk you through the process. So we are killing the problem at the source. Every day, our vehicles collect the flowers from the temples, and they're brought to our facility, where all the plastic, the threads, all the pattars, the milk packets, everything is weeded out. Then these flowers are sprayed with our own biokiln to offset the pesticide, or the major arsenic organophosphates are offsetted. Then the flowers are washed and sun-dried. Then depending upon certain biological factors, we use a certain part, like for example, we use the rose to make our incense. The green portion, the petals, the leaves are used to make vermicompost, and rest is used to make FLORAFOAM. We've been building something which will even change this. So my city, Kanpur, is famous for its leather. But take a moment and think about leather. Leather is a byproduct of the livestock industry. This industry consumes about 27% of the world's total freshwater supply, about 30% of our land mass, and in return, it gives us about 18% of the total greenhouse emission gases. And even the output that we get, out of that, only 30% hides actually get converted into leather. Rest, untreated hides, and all the leather tannery chemicals get into the river Ganges. And we are changing this. We have discovered a way to convert floral waste into leather-like substance. Our rapid process allows us to build a 3 by 3 feet leather hide in 3 weeks as compared to 3 years, which a normal cattle is used to harvest. And we're scaling fast. This is the same ghat which I had visited 4 years ago with Cuba. We make sure that none of the flowers today get into the river Ganges. So what's closest to my heart in all of this is the choice of the people we are able to employ. So we have made a conscious effort to employ women who were earlier manual scavenging. Manual scavengers are people who jump neck deep into clogged sewers and scrape human feces with their bare hands, keep it up on their heads, walk kilometers to dispose of in the outskirts of the city. No one ever talks about this, and it is very easy for us to say, why don't they become a bai or maybe a guard? But once someone gets to know that they were cleaning human excreta or drains, no one employs them. This is what they're doing now. We employ 79 women full-time. We provide them fair wages, insurances, and even a bus service to commute. The radical idea does not only provide dignity, like predictable livelihoods to my people, but a life of dignity and respect. She's Prema. She's one of our employees, flower cyclers. And she one day came to me and she said, like, when I was 19, I used to clean someone's bathrooms, and I once asked them for cold water, and the owner refused. That day, I decided that at some point of time in my life, I would buy a refrigerator so that I will be able to have cold water. She saved a 4-month salary to buy a refrigerator. She was able to have cold water. The story does not stop there. Her so-called upper-class neighbors who used to earlier despise her, now their children come to her home to have water. And she said, now my children are equal to their children. My work is not about cleaning the waste on the land. It is about cleaning at all levels. It is about breaking barriers. It is about shifting paradigms. It is about cleaning myself. Thank you.